fuck it, let's keep going. Alright. I guess we succeeded? Did that... the fuck is a hoser?
My sis?
Could have sworn I heard Mia's voice.
So then, she's still alive, inside your heart.
Nicky boy! Wait, oh, sorry, that's Desiree. I saw the name, my brain just immediately went straight to Delight for some reason.
Nicky boy!
Oh, Mr. Wright.
Is it true that detective is the real killer?
To be honest, we don't have any definitive proof. But he's the only one who could have done it.
But wasn't he at Lord Latela that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Amy want to kill Kane Bullard?
Nope, it's almost time. I better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof. It's gotta happen sooner rather than later. Okay. I'm glad that we're kind of getting everybody on page right now. Like, the judge is like, ooh, wait a minute, something might be right about this. Whew, okay. Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Look at Me, please take the stand.
Well, well, how do you do, sir lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly.
I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Masque de Masque.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid even the great Look at Me has no idea what you mean. Of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on in here.
You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Masque de Masque.
Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example.
So it was a red diamond. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. So, if that was a letter from Kane Bullard, I do believe we know. So you continue to insist that you are in fact Masque de Masque?
Of course.
Very well then, Look at Me. Let us begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time?
One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not use it against you, Sir Judge.
Thanks? Oh god, here we go. Second cup of... Okay. I was prepared for the... Okay, I was prepared. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Atme. The night of the murder.
Speak! Oh, god damn it.
We're all ears. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor.
Okay, here we go, the alibi.
I was stealing the urn as Masque de Masque, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. The photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness.
And this was at... This wasn't at 1 o'clock. This was at, like... Wait. This is at midnight, like 2 minutes. But that's not... But wait a minute, that's not technically possible because... Wait. How is this even possible? Wait a minute. What's the date on this thing? We know it's the time, but... What does the data say that this photo was actually taken? No, wait, no, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. Fuck, I'm an idiot!
The time at which the camera captured Mask Damask was the same time as the murder.
It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene.
Everything else up until now is all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well.
Even the great Mask Damask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive.
No! Unfortunately, Mr. Atney, we still have to do your cross-examination.
A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool.
How dare you? That is Francisca's thing! You are not allowed to steal her words.
I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick.
The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. Okay. Here we go. So this photograph is the proof, correct?
Indeed it is. And the man in the photo is certainly...
Oh, and the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask.
That is why I'm called a Mask Damask.
But conveniently, that also means that there's no way to tell who this really is. What do you mean?
Objection!
Huh. Are you saying that this is not in fact Look at Me? That it could be an accomplice dressed up as Mask Damask to create an alibi?
What an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice?
I really don't. I don't know. If Look at Me was at KB Security during the murder, then the Mask Damask in this picture has to be a fake.
Then there really was an accomplice.
But right now, I have no idea who it was. Yeah, we don't have anything to make an... Fuck, I don't know.
I don't have any idea right now either.
Baseless objections are just what that guy wants. I gotta be very careful about how I do this. There's gotta be another way, and I'm going to find it. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point.
That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken.
You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right?
Indeed. There's no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target.
I see. You truly are evil, aren't you?
Yes, evil is what I am.
Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this?
What?
Detective Abney was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona.
You know, that's true. It's kind of odd. So, by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here. Is that correct?
Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime.
The very thing that proves you committed the crime. Hold on. Wait a minute. Where? This one's... Where's the... Hold on. there 2 weeks ago. Then why... How... Then where's the... Hold on. There's something off here. When you think about it, it's really odd. You say that almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose.
Objection! He was simply caught by the very camera that he had set up.
God damn it.
We all have days like that.
Indeed. It's not that there was no such thing as the perfect crime after all. Life is truly an ironic thing, a sad blue melody.
Looks like I better gather more information for now. If he's truly the killer, there's gotta be something phony in that photo. I think it has something to do with the paint. About the camera that took this photograph.
Oh, come now! It's all too clear what you're thinking.
Huh?
You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you?
Don't? I'm afraid that's impossible. That camera was set up by Lordly Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordly Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered.
I see. Looks like I better find something else that could be suspicious. Okay, so this alibi is false? It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security. But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either the mask to mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. This right here. What did he say about this again? So by photographing me in that space out, that's right. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. He's very insistent about that. I committed the crime.
Surely you need to understand by now.
Oh, it changed!
Lordly Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Kane Bowler unless I had an accomplice.
Okay, so the dialogue did change. Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse, and this picture that supposedly captures it. It's got to be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? Oh, yeah, there is! Where the fuck is the statue?
Are you implying that this picture is a fake?
You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place. And there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Yeah, the statue's missing. Very well then, let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? Oh, I thought I was gonna... well, that's easy. I was gonna present the statue, but I guess I just present this area here? The funny part is right here. Why, this is a blood stain! Blood! Now this case is getting more interesting! Not exactly. The stain is actually pink paint. Pink paint? I played Danganronpa. I know that's blood! Oh, well, it's paint, and peach colored at that. But it's pink.
from blood to peaches. The judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse. It turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. Well, Mr. Wright? What is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains?
Oh, now I can present it. Here. The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following.
Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive in the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it.
I myself was there the night of the theft took place, and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there!
Objection! But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner.
Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally.
Your Honor, this statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance.
Huh. In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night?
Can you do it, Nick?
Well, to match the photo. Well, never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? To match the photo.
Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you're prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime?
Well, it would have to be Look at Me. He was there he was there. So in order for him to match the photo, he had to move the statue out of the way so that the photo would have the stains in it. So, it would have to be him. The one who moved the statue was none other than Look at Me!
Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions.
Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions?
It's very simple. Are you calling me delusional? The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night.
That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue?
The reason for moving this golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins.
Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue?
The reason can be found here in this photograph. Look at me. You pretended to be masked Damask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you had to move the statue.
The single fatal flaw?
Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Yes, where in this photo picture does this lie exist?
But what the... Oh, God, the fucking timestamp! That was why! He had to make that match! Take that! Naturally, the line in this photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Look at Me went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor at this time. But what does that have to do with the statue being moved? He had to make the match. Remember, if you will, Your Honor. When was this statue placed besides the warehouse door?
Well,
The statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime. And then it was placed there in order to cover up the paint.
Exactly. Look at Me had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim. And so, in order to create an alibi for that time, He took this picture days before the murder took place.
What the?
Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. Ah. So, on the day of the crime, Mr. Atme must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak.
What the actual fuck are you on? I know I'm supposed to be crazy, but what the hell?
Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Look at Me had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match with the way it had been in this photo. Order! Order! Mr. Atme, is this true?
One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this?
What's that?
The data for the basement warehouse computer.
According to this,
The camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime.
fuck off! It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lordly Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours! That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data. Order, for God's sake! Order, Mr. Godo, what is the meaning of this? Gulp. Okay, give me a minute. Ugh. Oh, damn it, I was drinking while he splattered. Ugh. Okay, how much do I got? Okay, about 3/4 left of this peppermint. I'm gonna try to savor it. It's already cold. Godo, I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down!
My 11th cup. I promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial. Which means I'm still good till the last drop.
However, the defense has a very good point.
A good point? So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points.
I think he's got his points mixed up with his other points.
So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied.
Which is?
Coffee-mancy. That it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams.
Well, that's very true. No way! Don't fall for that, Your Honor!
Hey, Mr. Damask.
Yes?
If there's no funny business in your actions as Masked Damask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So, let's hear it.
Yes, please provide this cult with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn. Why? The sacred urn!
I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box, and Zvani! It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th.
1 a.m. October 12th.
That's pretty much all the stuff we've heard before, isn't it?
Yeah, but we will find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave.
Ooh, nuggets?
We're not getting nuggets yet. We'll get you your nuggets later.
Aw.
Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time?
Zavari.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. You may begin your cross-examination.
Oh boy.
Ooh, okay. Oh boy, here we go. Hold it! You were asked to guard the urn by Miss Adrian Andrews. Is that right?
Indeed. It seemed that they had heard of my sparkling reputation.
I see Miss Andrews is still attracting the weirdos. You'd better watch out too, Maya. What the fuck does that mean? Jerk? Hold it! You mean this box?
Yes, that pathetic box. Lady Andrews was especially taken with that urn, and she wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me.
Huh. Interesting new tidbit. Interesting use of the word tidbit. So you're sure that you had never seen the urn before?
Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, look at me. Let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers.
Whew. You mean this calling card?
That's right! That is without a doubt my calling card.
I guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all.
Of course. Because Amy knew about the emblem. Making this card authentic would have been child's play for him. Oh yeah, he's a very thorough individual. Then no one entered the basement warehouse.
Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse.
And this is the photo that proves that, huh?
Indeed. To be honest, even the photo was taken. I didn't think it would matter terribly much.
Hey, Nick, if this photo is a fake, Detective Abney might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken.
That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. Take a good hard look at the court record.
Not a lot to go on, is there?
The detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in his cross-examination. That he took this photo well before the actual night of the crime.
Alright then, how would we do that?
There's one thing that Abby stated very clearly, that he had never seen the urn before he stole it. Oh! Oh, in that case. Steals valuable works of art, sends a calling card before a heist. Oh! Oh! He fucked up!
We need to prove that he's lying.
Yeah. I do believe he just fucking lied to me. As I held the urn in my hand for the first time. I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. Okay, so before heist, the emblem is top secret. I'll be coming to purloin the most priceless work of art on display in your treasures on Crane exhibit. Take a good look at the Take good care of the speckled urn, won't you? The most priceless work of art. But there's no, it doesn't really, it doesn't have any, wait a minute! Oh! Adrian, she dropped the urn and she tried putting it back together, so there's a bit of discrepancy here. Hold on. So save it right now. I sent my card 10 days beforehand. Oh wait, maybe I need to... I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. Maybe that's the one I gotta... Yeah, maybe that's what I gotta do. Objection! Okay, I was right. Mr. Atme, if you really are masked to Mosk, then you also wrote this calling card, correct?
But of course. Is there a problem with that calling card?
Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Masked Damask had written. Take good care of the Speckled Urn. Now, the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn. Well, yes, that is true, but so what? Truth be told, there's no way that Masked Damask could have known about this pattern. Yeah, because it wasn't there when it was originally shown. Because let us have a healthy reminder, this is what it looked like originally.
What do you mean?
This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains? And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor.
I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite.
The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say, an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn.
You can't be serious.
And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atme had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. My throat is killing me! Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself? All right, that did it. He's broken.
Nick? I think it's still a little early for a victory pose.
Huh? Gulp.
It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days.
Conviction, you say?
Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Masked Damask. And now we're calling him a murderer.
Oh, gulp.
You don't think we're being a tad fickle?
Well, that's a good point. No, don't fall for that too, Your Honor!
You say that Look at Me was the one who killed Kate Bullard. Then let me ask you this. Why would he do that?
An excellent point. Motive, Mr. Wright. Motive! Might you my very murderous motive manifest Super Smash Bros. Ultimate?
What? What?
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Nick, he's getting a second wind.
If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Rhonda Light as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder. Oh! Maybe the blackmail was for him, but he sent it to Ron after he read it.
The only one with any motive we've seen is Ron Delight.
God damn it, Okay. Oh, half cup. Whew.
Isn't that right, detective?
Indeed. According to my own research, the boy's motive is clear.
Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were.
I'd be honored to, Sir Old-Timer.
They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. Okay, here we go. The motive for murder.
I, look at me, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Ballard decided to investigate Mask Damask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Ballard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. And it was again Mr. Ballard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Ballard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Mask Damask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Ballard. Truly a tragedy.
But I'm still of the potential idea that maybe the maybe it was actually sent to him instead.
So the victim, Kane Ballard, blackmailed the defendant?
This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirms that Mr. Ballard was indeed the one who wrote the letter.
What? Found in Ron Delight's room, written by Bullard. So he did write the blackmail letter. Which means there is a motive. I can act. Wait. Okay, so we know this is written by Bullard. What other stuff do we have here that connects what's his face to? Ah. Here's the connection. This is the connection that he has to Kane Bullard. Ron Delight, who was working as security for KB Security, was potentially the connection that Atme had to Kane Bullard. And that's why, as soon as Kane Bullard found out, he sent the blackmail letter, realistically, to him. To look at me. That's the only way that that red diamond comment makes any sense.
Very well then, Mr. Wright, begin your cross-examination.
Okay, here we go. Let's press him. And who in the world is going to prove that?
I will. After doing a thorough background check of Detective Atme and Kane Ballard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report.
Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security.
Nope.
Well, that was blunt.
In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight.
No. I have ways to counter this. Mistook.
That's right. Mistook. From the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take an error.
That wasn't what I meant.
Just who did the victim mistake Mask Damask to be?
Why, the answer is obvious. Ron Delight, of course.
Boy, I'd like to wipe that smug look off this guy's face. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Mask Damask?
Don't you already know that? Svani! Take a look at this newspaper.
The one that I was pointing out?
Oh, that's the famous Tear of Emanon, a magnificent jewel.
That photo shows a magnificent detective as well, does it not? Furthermore, it shows an ugly god, namely the defendant.
The defendant?
The victim clearly misread this article and Svani! He got the wrong impression. The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Mask Damask.
I see. That was an unusually reasonable deduction.
Fair enough. You mean this blackmail letter right here?
It says bring 50K.
And the handwriting is without a doubt the victim's.
There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it.
But I don't see an addressee on this letter anyway. An addressee?
This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment, and Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no addressee is irrelevant. I wonder...
What's up, Nick? I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight?
Exactly what I was thinking!
Whoa! Do you have any evidence of that? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter.
Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied?
No. What do you mean by that?
Oh my, I was certain you were already aware. Zvori!
KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. And since I was a security team chief, I stole data from the company.
Kane Ballard had yet to forgive young Mr. Delight. Which is why he sent him that letter upon mistakenly believing he was the thief.
Here's a file that we discovered in Mr. Ballard's office. Evidence that Mr. Ballard was receiving money through blackmail.
However, isn't this a bit odd? Why did the defendant pay Mr. Ballard the money? Even though he wasn't actually masked de mask.
On that point, there was an unfortunate bit of chance.
Do you really think that story is going to hold up?
That assertion is not merely my own, I'm afraid.
What do you mean?
I have here a memo from Ron Delight's wife, Desiree Delight.
Coffee. Oh, goddammit.
Ronnie thinks he's masked de mask. Don't you feel sorry for him? Please don't think too badly of him.
God damn it! I'm almost out of coffee. Am I gonna have to have 3 cups of coffee anytime I encounter this man?
Well, Mr. Trite.
Was he trying to act like Miss Delight just now? I thought he was actually pretty convincing. He didn't even do the voice right. Well, that's because you weren't trying. Now that's just your imagination talking.
Come now, Sir Lawyer. I'm afraid imagination isn't the right word for it. This is a deduction, the result of carefully applied reasoning.
Can we hear that careful reasoning for ourselves?
It's a long story, and better saved for another time.
Oh, very well then, another time. Those so-called long stories aren't usually all that long. At least not in my experience. So you're going to try to connect Detective Atme to Mr. Ballard, right? Yeah, that's right. Hopefully it won't require surgery either. What? Well, in that case, you'll have to talk about the blackmail. It's true. Was that blackmail letter really intended for Ron? Since we don't have enough information, you should press him for more testimony. Maybe I'll be able to shake some contradiction loose that way.
Well, I think I've already gotten a good idea of what to do here. Like, hold on.
Like, seriously, I'm really half tempted that I think this is probably meant for him because of the red jewel.
Objection!
Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme?
Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright.
When you said that this letter was addressed to Ron Delight, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction, and I pointed this out right at the fucking beginning!
Contradiction?
I don't know what a walking contradiction like you gets us off saying things like that.
You're one to talk!
At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior?
Indeed! Time to man up, Mr. Wright! Show us the contradicting evidence and the content of the blackmail letter.
Wait, how do... Okay, so it has something to do with the red diamond. It says it has to do with the red diamond. So... Wait a minute! Hold on! Oh. He doesn't have the ring on, does he? Take that! Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the Tear of Emanon, the stolen jewel. Wait, that's not what I was focusing on, but okay. What about it? The problem is this jewel's color.
Color? I'm not much for discussing color myself.
According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Red? Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Emanon that Mask Damask stole at all!
Objection! And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you're trying to say that the blackmail letter was intended for someone else? That is what you're trying to say, right, Trite?
That is what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright?
Well, that's what you're trying to say, right, Nick?
Yes. Talk about a triple trouble there. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. Look at me! Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme!
Do you have some sort of basis for that claim?
The fuck is that on your finger? You've been personally involved in every single Mask Damask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen. And received a jewel. As your reward.
A jewel?
Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring! That is the diamond referred to in the letter. Which means that Kane Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you. Ah! He was way too proud of that fucking ring. Woo!
It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite.
Also, I accidentally did not write. I forgot to read the. I fucked up. I was too caught up in my moment. I forgot to read Judge. Oh, I don't like the way he said that.
Kane Bullard blackmailing, look at me. Are you for real?
Yes, I am.
Nick, come on, stand up to him!
Then answer me this! The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world.
Yes, it certainly does. God damn it. I'm almost out of coffee. I'm almost out!
Kane Bullard threatened to make Look at Me's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret. So just what was that identity?
Atme killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. Oh! I have an idea. It might have something to do with this. Dual 100k, Crown of Bangura, 150k, left hand up 240k, 500k. What if this is... They got... Okay, first off, they got minuses next to them. He was keeping track of how much money that he was potentially losing. So... What if Atme was potentially blackmailing Bullard? What if it was like a back and forth blackmail issue? What was the identity he wanted to keep secret?
This is what it all comes down to, Nick.
The identity that Look At Me wanted to so desperately kept secret was his identity as
Ace Detective, Master.
a blackmailer! He was blackmailing the company! Look At Me was a blackmailer!
Objection! I know. Isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing Look At Me. Are you saying that Atomy was blackmailing someone else on top of that?
You have to admit that does sound a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense.
Kane Bullard was blackmailing Look At Me. But Ron Delight was also being blackmailed by a certain someone.
So, did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident?
Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from someone very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans.
Yeah. Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Ron Delight was actually Masque de Masque.
That is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Look At Me. And we know... Shh, silence!
Now I see. It's all becoming clear.
What is?
When you were in grade school, you'd receive the same report card every year. Careless with a tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong?
How did you...
You say that I, Look At Me, was blackmailing Ron Delight. In which case I would naturally know all about his relation to Masque de Masque.
Well... yes.
Ron Delight started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when we committed the first crime.
Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise.
Oh my god! Ugh. Ugh.
In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence, unlike the coffee that I'm drinking, which has now become cold. During the first crime, how did Look At Me know that Ron Delight was Masque de Masque?
Take that! The newspaper clipping. I think I see it.
Say what?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention.
What do you mean?
This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Ron Delight in his guard uniform. It seems that Masque de Masque didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true.
You've gone through a lot of shit, dude. This is nothing.
Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective.
And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Amy. That's when you learned that under his mask, Masque de Masque was really Ron Delight. What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Masque de Masque?
Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even ace detective.
I can't believe it. He was a slimy blackmailer.
What a fraud, trying to pass himself off as an ace detective.
Why, you? How dare you expose me like that? Why, I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud ace detective and also Masque de Masque. Why can't you understand that?
You're a fraud. I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity!
Why, you? How dare you even imply that I'm the clever I'm not trying to explain yourself? There's a big mouth of yours, you fools! I say, none of you can compare my knees! You really can tell! So good! Just beneath me! Come on, beneath me! There's nothing else! Each time can I handle blackmail, murder, and threats! I'll get away with that! It's enough to make one laugh!
Oh. You know what? This reminds me of the time that I got way too well into Gaunt's headspace that I started becoming that character. I think I almost did it again. Whew. I really hope my neighbors weren't listening in on that.
It would seem we finally arrived at the real answer. That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme. Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atme.
What? Coffee bending.
I'm just gonna chug the rest of this, god damn it! Okay, I'm ready.
The emblem that strikes too fast has no time to aim.
What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my ruling.
Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge.
You don't get much more in your face than that.
It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Wright.
What do you...
It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like, Look at Me was a filthy blackmailer, and that he wasn't at Lordly Taylor the night of the murder.
That's right. That's why he's the one who killed Mr.
But
I have no more I drank the rest of that after that Look at Me outburst. So, yeah.
there's still one thing you have yet to prove.
What's that?
Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB Security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered.
No way! Order. Order in the court! Well, Mr. Wright, this is it. This is the final round. I've got to prove that Atme was at Mr. Bullard's office on that night.
But can you really prove that?
I don't think I've got it.
That's long enough, Mr. Wright. I want to hear your answer.
That night, Look at Me was at KB Security, and the defense... We don't have anything. I don't have anything that proves that he was in there. Fuck. Hold on, I'm gonna save my progress, but I'm guaranteeing we don't have anything that definitively puts him there. If anything, we have to get more proof out of testimony or find some more evidence, but... I can't prove it.
Just as I thought.
If we hear more of Detective Atmy's testimony...
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite.
What do you mean?
I won't allow for any more testimony. That's what I mean.
What?
Have you forgotten? Look at me as here after we interrupted his own trial. And you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as Masque de Masque.
No.
Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Masque de Masque. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron Delights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness.
Fraud. Order in the court. That's enough deliberation over this witness. I can't believe... At this rate, Ron is...
Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence and...
By then, it'll be too late.
Huh? Why?
Because of... I think it's double jeopardy. If he's... Yep, there it is.
Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law.
Double jeopardy?
Yeah, that's arguably one of the only... Funnily enough, double jeopardy is like one of the legal term that I know the most about. And I'm fucking stupid when it comes to law. Or at least, studying of law. This game did teach me a lot. Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. That is a fundamental rule of all courts. And it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else.
Mr. Atmy will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as Masque de Masque, which means...
He will be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullard is concerned.
No way.
The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atmy's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Bullard's murderer. No! Wait, what do I do? Wait, what the fuck do I do? Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, look at me, will go free. You'll have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. And as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? Then I hereby end the cross-examination of Look at Me.
Objection!
Oh. Mia! That was her objection.
I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result.
How did you...
Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets.
That voice. No way. Is that... Mia!
Long time no see, Phoenix.
Mia! Hey, Mia. This is the true power of the Korean channeling technique. Glad that's back! I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she's my mentor, Mia Fey.
Now, let's do this.
But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine.
Not yet. The testimony's not over yet.
What do you mean? Your Honor!
Just now, you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today.
Well, yes, that's true, but...
Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks.
Yeah, his explosiveness.
Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Masque de Masque. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron Delights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness.
That counts as testimony.
Oh yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever.
Very well. Then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination.
Ah, technicality! Let's go! Sorry.
At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that all right with you, prosecutor?
Is something the matter, Mr. Godo?
Nothing.
Oh, sir lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, look at...
Let's hear it.
Huh?
It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination.
Mr. Godo, what are you...
Does he recognize Mia? Does he recognize her? No, could it be? Is this the boyfriend that Mia had that was killed? He said he was rising from the ashes, so... No, I might be reading too far into that. Ooh, but that would be a cool twist. Very well then, Mr. Look at Me. I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks.
The defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer.
So please, give us one last bit of testimony.
Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance.
Yes, Chief. All right. I am... Let it be known that I am still... I'm still a little bit lightheaded.
Indeed. It is true that I was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I'd known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was drawn to light. And thanks to the key card and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints on it if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Light was wearing his masked mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter? The victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Zvani! Therefore, all the evidence points to that boy.
This testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well. The witness's earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything. We'll see about that. I just gotta press this shit.
But of course.
But how did you know about the emergency buzzer? Oh my god!
The police investigation documents went directly through me. And I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, sir lawyer.
Oh.
Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, sir lawyer?
I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. We cannot postpone Look at Me's trial any longer. This is your last chance. Hang on a sec, just one chance?
It seems that the party's about to begin.
Well, Phoenix,
There isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony.
so it would seem.
What do you mean, so it would seem?
Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it?
Yeah, I can just press people. Oh. Oh.
At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it.
I just gotta press all of them until something pops up.
Cup number 17, the last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial.
Please, my throat's in pain.
It's Winston. I'm Winston Payne right now. I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony. And I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination. I only get one chance, so... I'm guessing that means I can press every statement, but if I get the option to press harder, I have to pick the correct one. So I have to be really careful. Well, actually, here, I'm going to save it, just in case. Oh, right.
Hold it!
Oh, shit. Mr. Amy, about this last remark. Okay.
You still don't get it, do you, Wright? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement.
What?
I said this before! There's still one thing you haven't proven. That this scum was in Kane Bullard's office that night. And now, it's time for me to drink my last cup.
Okay. Mr. Wright, I will hold you to the end of your butt. That's enough. This court sees no reason to prefer... Oh.
Fuck me! God damn it!
No, is there any need for any time to decide the case against the defendant? This case is extremely blah blah blah. This court finds the defendant Ron Delight guilty. The accused will surrender to the court immediately, to be held pending trial at a higher court within a month from today's date. That is all. The court is adjourned. Thank you for not letting me pause and reload. That's highly appreciated, by the way. Thank you for that. Oh! Shit, it just took me right back over there. Okay. Okay. I gotta be really careful here. Which one is the correct one? What about the day before? The bill introduction was informed me that the true culprit was Ron Delight, and thanks to the key card and wallet, it's abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which was sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on the line. The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his mask demon, which is why he left him. How would you know this?
Hold it!
Is this the right one? Oh, I don't think it's the right one. Objection!
You still don't get it, do you, Wright? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement.
Oh, it is the right one!
Oh my god, I thought I was gonna have to go through process of elimination and find the right one, but thank God I was right. Okay. Okay.
I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godo.
What?
Mr. Atme, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder.
How can you say that?
Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atme? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing the Mask de Mosque outfit. Is that correct?
Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof.
More like your deductions prove that you're a fool.
I'm sorry, whatever do you mean?
For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty.
When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron Delight was dressed as Mask de Mosque when he went to the scene of the crime? That was... when he wasn't even in the courtroom.
It was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare.
Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now.
And he wasn't even in the courtroom. That's right. The defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atman?
There's no way that you should have known about that! You were in the next courtroom being tried as Mask Damask. So then enlighten us. Just how did you know about that piece of information? Well... Come on! This detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand.
And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his Mask Damask outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Atman to have found that out. Only one way, you say? Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony.
When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there.
For a second, my client witnessed the real truth.
But Mr. Delight never saw his attacker. So there's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was look at me.
It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head.
Just what are you implying?
Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight.
Possible.
Yeah. Detective Atman, you saw Mask Damask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. Oh shit, are we having uh-oh. Something's going on.
Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown!
That's the same line you gave yesterday, by the way. But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. What an awfully complicated incident. My head hurts. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Look at Me, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Look at Me tried to frame Ron Delight. He then claimed to be guilty as Mask Damask in order to escape his true crime. And to that end, he came up with this plan, to use the double Jeopardy rule when making his alibi. At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth.
Excuse me.
I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man, besmirching him with the title of murderer.
Don't ignore me!
Oh, I didn't realize you were there.
Why wouldn't he be?
About the verdict.
I know. You never committed any murder.
That's right. I'm so glad you understand that, but I really am Mask Damask! So thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double Jeopardy.
Well, now that you mention it.
I've been careless.
Careless? What do you think, Mia? Well, as the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. A defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was once found innocent.
Then, Mask Damask is really innocent?
It seems so. For now.
For now? Oh my god, it just kind of clued in.
Okay. Now then, this court finds the defendant
Not guilty!
My throat. Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, this isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I am still masked to mask after all.
October 14th, 3:35 p.m.
You did it, Phoenix. Thanks, Mia. Oh, it's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's because Mai doesn't call on me much these days.
Oh?
I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days.
You mean about becoming the master of the Korean channeling tech school?
Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother. Misty Faye, right? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix?
Well, yeah, of course. Of course!
Well then, see you around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say.
Congratulations, Mr. Delight.
Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though. Now that this is...
Oh, come on, just be happy already!
Maya?
You've been cleared of the murder charges and got off as masked the mosque to boot.
But in exchange, I lost everything.
Huh? What do you mean?
Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming a mask at the mosque. I did it all for one reason. For her.
You mean your wife, Desiree?
She hates criminals more than anything.
Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? But you saved her, though.
She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but
You still loved her.
once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure.
So that's why you became masked to mosque?
Yes, but it's all over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together.
That's not true, right, Nick?
Really? Can we go back to the way things were?
You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it.
I can? I kinda wish you could check with me first. Something that proves that things can go back to the way they were. Oh. Mr. Delight, even if a bowl is broken, there's always a way to put it back together. Oh! It's an allegory for the fucking... Yeah, it's an allegory for this. This was put back together. Things can be put back together, dude.
The Sacred Urn. Desi was the one who found this.
Desiree, your wife. She's always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything.
Ah, there you are.
Miss Delight.
You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy.
Thank you. I appreciate that, but, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you?
Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you'd quit KB Security. I never imagined that you were really masked to mosque either. Miss Delight, what are you going to do now that you know? You're not going to really leave him, are you? Oh, come on. It's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast that there's no way he could ever get away.
But didn't you say that you hated criminals?
Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective.
I see.
My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them. Like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I knew I was right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement.
Desi.
Oh my god.
Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you? Nicky boy. Yes? I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us.
Oh, well, take care of yourself.
You too, Nicky boy.
what? I can feel my face going.
Mr. Nick, Mystic Maya, congratulations! There's Pearl!
No. Talk about bad timing, please. I'm begging you, Pearl.
Mr. Nick, how could you? With another man's wife in front of Mystic Maya!
No, no, please, Kororo.
I'll never forgive you! Never, ever!
This girl's gonna be the death of me. So, just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness. Okay, so it's canon that Pearl can knock the fuck out of Phoenix. Okay. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Aww, that's wholesome. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together even better than before.
Don't hurt me at the head of my heart.
Oh, that hits you right in the Maid Maya, and I see somebody with a scouter.
Guys, I hope you won't mind me just... I hope you guys don't mind me leaving the outro as me just kind of... My throat hurts. That case was really fucking good. Also a very wholesome as fuck ending, except for the part where Phoenix got knocked out by Pearl, but it still just resulted in being a very wholesome... It's just fucking wholesome. I had way too much fun going with Look at Me, and I think I went a little bit overboard with his breakdown there. I'm gonna... Oh wow, I think I've got a headache. Whew. Oh yeah, there it is. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm gonna take some aspirin, and I'll see you guys next time, but don't forget to look at me!